There are many times when telling the cold, hard truth is not the best approach, and we should instead filter the things we say to those around us. Unfortunately, I have a poor brain-to-mouth filter. It is not that I blurt out everything that comes to mind. I know when to not say something and when to hold my words. But despite this, I often say whatever words I think of, with little regard for the situation, and even with little regard if what I am speaking is verifiably true. I have a very lazy system of checking what is acceptable to say. The rule of don't say anything your grandmother wouldn't want you to say. Most of the time, I ask myself, do I think she'd mind? No, I'll say it. Sometimes I think she would mind, especially when I stumble into situations where a delicate, subtle touch is needed, where diplomacy becomes a necessity and not a fancy flourish for decoration. At those times, I will, with the grace of a brick through a window, shatter the delicate atmosphere by accident, often with one of my many, many poorly timed jokes and puns. But when I watch my words, magic happens. The type of magic that gets Mrs. Rowan to call me a politician because of my rhetorical skills. Knowing that my former AP Euro history teacher had been raised behind the Iron Curtain, I'm still unsure if this was a compliment or not. The pursuit of truth and speaking the truth is a force for good, as we all want to be honest and avoid lies, right? However, how can you reconcile the pursuit of truth with the pain that blunt truth can cause when others are not ready to hear it? Truth cannot be treated as a black and white subject. It should instead be treated as a spectrum with cold, hard truth on one end and charming lies on the other. Chasing the truth is a noble endeavor. Generations of scientists and philosophers, from Plato to Descartes to Hawking, have all been searching for truth. So, truth must be valued very highly by humanity. But sometimes it is necessary for somebody to conceal the truth, to help preserve someone's feelings or even a nation's safety. Take the CIA, for example. Not many spies tend to reveal the truth when asked, "Are you a spy?" They need to hide the truth in order to remain hidden and be a good spy. We, as a species, have been torn for who knows how long between wanting or needing to conceal the truth and revealing truths. We seek, it seems, to tell as much truth as we can before needing to lie, whether for our own safety or our own desire or whatever other reasons we have to conceal the truth. Truth remains highly valued, though, for both philosophers and scientists are constantly trying to find truth. Truth is such a broad and varied term that it's impossible to discover a universal truth. I think the closest we'll ever get is by saying 1 + 1 = 2, but even then there are branches of math that say that is false. Sometimes, however, it doesn't matter what the math says because we still obscure the truth. Small white lies can be necessary, helping us to shield others' feelings, but lying is ultimately destructive. I learned this personally when Brandon Collins lied to me about his birthday. He told me his birthday once, and I specially marked it down on my phone's calendar. Months passed, and I totally forgot about it until my phone rang on March 5th, reminding me. I went through my school day, as usual, wishing him a happy birthday upon seeing him, but he denied it, saying it wasn't his birthday. When I pressed him for the date of his birthday, he still refused to answer my question. Then came chapel birthday celebrations later that week. I heard his name called out, and he stood up, and I was shocked, flabbergasted, dumbfounded. After chapel, I confronted him because I felt confused. He admitted that, yeah, it wasn't my birthday Tuesday. I just don't celebrate it. I haven't celebrated it since I was 11. After some friendly bantering between our group of friends, we laid the idea to rest. Till now. Sorry, not sorry, Brandon. This is a very lighthearted example of a more serious problem. Lying, deceit, whatever you call it, is bad news. Brandon had some fun with it, but at the cost of my confusion. Fun lies interrupted my perception and pursuit of truth in this instance, leaving me at a loss. Brandon told the truth, and later used lies to have a little bit of joking fun. Thus, despite the complexities of truth and never fully knowing if some things are true, it is up to us to simply try our best to avoid lies whenever we can. White lies could make me much more of the politician that Mrs. Rowan thinks I could be, but I am simply not a people person. I handle small talk with strangers like I hold water. It pretty quickly gets out of hand. Thank you. I often escalate into debating or arguing because I don't maneuver around sensitive topics or lie just a little to avoid arguments. I just say what I believe to be true off the top of my head with little regard for other factors. Is that the right way to handle truth? I could divert the course of the conversation instead of continuing into an argument, but I don't, because in order to spread truth, one must speak it. This is where the talk gets a little more philosophical. How much truth can someone speak before using lies? If a liar speaks the truth, will the listeners believe the liar? How do we know what is true when we only know what we are told? Obviously, the answer is to find out for yourself. That is much easier said than done. So, what's the solution? The reasonable, practical, doable solution? I don't have one, but then again, neither do you. No one does. But I do have some advice. Speak the truth as much as you can until you need a small white lie to preserve feelings. Truth, TMI, is something we are all searching for, to find it, embrace it, or speak it. And from lousy filters to lying about birthdays, we all have some quirk related to truth and how we present it. What's your quirk? Thank you.